right.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Half Hour of Horror. It's me, Aaron McLean, here with my co-host as usual. Oh, hey, it's Chase. What's happening, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing good. Hope you guys are.
Yeah, really excited. And today we got a guest with us today, my cohort in crime and writing partner, Patrick Mediate. What's going on, buddy?
Yo, it's good to be back.
Yeah, man. Happy to
Always
have
good to have you.
Yeah, really good to be here.
So today, got to apologize. We're a little late because I'm having some technical difficulties, and they're not stopping, but we're going to give it a shot. We're going to try it today. We're going to see what we can make happen, but we're super excited to be talking about one of our favorite clowns in horror. That's right. We're talking about Pennywise today. The scariest clown to ever do the damn thing, come out of a sewer with a balloon and eat some kids. Obviously, Stephen King masterpiece as a book, and has been made into a film twice now, and a currently running miniseries. And we thought it'd be good to give tribute to the clown of the sewers of the galaxy. He's such a terrifying creature. When was your first introduction to Pennywise the Clown? Chase, when did you start getting scared by this creepy clown?
I know sometime when I was like a kid, I just happened to stumble along. They were re-airing, I think, on AMC, the 1990 miniseries with starring Tim Curry, and it was Pennywise attacking Georgie from the sewer. And yeah, that scared me. Finally got around to watching the full 1990 miniseries when I was probably a teenager. And yeah, ever since then, Pennywise has just been a force and horror, which we'll get to later on when we talk about the 2017, 2019 films. But yeah, that was my first introduction. Never read the book.
Really? Yeah. The book I read way too young, but we'll get into that. Pat, when did you first see the clown?
I mean, the book was the first time I knew about the clown, and I read that one, again, way too young when I was like, I was probably like 10 years old. I got it at the library of my elementary school. Like, who has it in the library of their elementary 1 through 5? Well, I have no idea. But it was there. So, I actually had to read it. So that's my first experience. But my first time seeing the clown was probably in the 1990s during the miniseries. My mother and I watched it in the 90s live as it was coming out. And obviously, again, way too young, scared the shit out of me. So that was my first experience.
I will say, I think when you mentioned it was at your elementary school library, it's just so funny to me seeing like the Bernstein Bears, maybe Goosebumps, and along with
it, like C.S. Lewis, Stephen King. I mean, crazy town.
I read the book in probably 7th grade, and it's not a kid's book. It's so traumatizing. The book is a massive tome too. It was the biggest book I had ever read at the time, and it's massive. It's thousands of pages, and it has a lot of child abuse in it. It's really messed up. Like it's shocking. There's hate crimes and racism and lynchings and beatings and molestations, and just like it just is relentless how brutal it is to these children. Murdering children. And all of this evil manifests in this terrifying clown. And this was a book that I'd read a few chapters and sit there with the light on until 2 a.m. My parents would be like, "Are you going to bed?" And I'm like, yeah. Click. And then they'd leave and I'd click, turn it back on, because it was scary as shit. But it was, I think it's not so much about what the clown's doing. It's what it represents that happens to the town. And for those of you who don't know, who haven't read the book, you've seen the movies, but it very much is the evil of this town collects in the sewers and is represented by this creepy clown that appears throughout history as they're detailing in the current show. And I was probably at a sleepover in high school when we saw the miniseries for the first time. I didn't see it when it first came out. But yeah, this is one that people were watching at sleepovers and getting scared shitless with.
Yeah.
I was
watching this at sleepovers too and getting shitless because you watched it, right? I watched it in the 90s and then experienced it, got scared shitless. And I was like, well, you got to share it with your bros. So, you bring it to the sleepover and you watch it there and then they get scared shitless. So it's like this never ending cycle.
And you don't know how many people I've talked to who are afraid of clowns that have said that Pennywise was kind of the origin of their fear of clowns.
100%. The first one is played masterfully by Tim Curry, and the makeup's designed by a famous makeup artist named Bart Mixon, who also did a bunch of, he worked on Gremlins, RoboCop. Bart Mixon is a legend in the business, but he helped design Pennywise the Clown and do the application of the makeup on Tim Curry. And man, Tim Curry's great. Obviously, we love Tim Curry from movies like Rocky Horror and Muppet Treasure Island and Legend. But his time as Pennywise the Clown is one for the books. And I think later we can get into the Tim Curry, Bill Skarsgård versions and their approaches, which are very different but equally powerful in their way. And one of the things I think that makes Tim Curry's version so interesting and so good, in my opinion, is he plays it as a real clown.
Yeah.
He doesn't play it as a demon. He does scary things, but he is a clown. And whereas I think the Bill Skarsgård is a scary clown, and there's a big difference, and we can talk about that in a little bit. From the miniseries, what are some of the beats that you like really stick out for you that you really remember that are really powerful and made this one so scary?
I'm gonna say there's one quote that did make me laugh when, let me see, John Ritter's character. I'm bad with character names. Ritter's character, Ben, when he goes, he thinks he's kissing Beverly in the hotel room. It turns out it's an It image. And of course, Ben was a hefty child as a kid. And he goes, "Kiss me, fat boy." That makes me laugh. When, especially too, whenever he's also in the library, Richie's in the library and he's messing with them while Richie's waiting. He's ha ha and swinging.
The rattle. But that's the sort of thing like that's just clowning around. He's got noisemakers. He's just distracting. But it's like the fact that he's in the wrong place at the wrong time. When he comes out of the shower, that was really disturbing. The hallucinations at the Chinese food restaurant are some of my favorite stuff, though, because of the stop motion. Like, I am just if you can get stop motion into your movie, I'm always super stoked. I believe the stop motion is made by the Kyoto brothers, who do Killer Clowns from Outer Space. They were like the stop motion company at the time, coming out of that Gumby world, and the creepy eyeballs and fingers crawling across the table. Like, I love the stop motion in that beat, and it's spectacular. What about you, Pat?
I mean, I always love the moments in the original miniseries where a creature, right? Because they incorporate all of these different, like, sometimes classic monsters into the mix, right? There's that scene where Richie goes to the movie theater. I think it was Richie. He goes to the movie theater and he's so afraid of this werewolf thing. And then he's in his school and he goes down to the basement and he experiences like the Wolfman in the flesh. And then the Wolfman turns into it afterwards. So I always love those moments where like the other representation of it occurs and they see this, whatever their fear is, and then that's actually the clown and he does a little wave. And I always love those moments best in the original series.
The when they see in the book, it's the mummy, like, oh, the mummy's chasing me,
the
and
mummy.
the Wolfman's chasing me. Because he's scared of the scary movies. He's scared of going to the movie theater and being freaked out. His mom won't let him go to the movie theater, and he sneaks out, and like it's always a manifestation of like what you're afraid of, but also like tied to some like fear of or from your parents. You know, there's generational trauma in this movie. That's a big part of this,
Yeah.
because the whole town is scarred. There's multiple events that happen in Derry as they're playing within the mini series or the new TV series that are just like stains on the town. And one of them is like this factory where a lot of African Americans or a lot of black people were working, and they locked the doors and burnt it down. And so like one of these kids witnessed this and saw like burnt hands coming out of the building. And then there was a young man who was lynched basically, and like that is a big stain on the town. And there's so many things that happen there that are just terrifying. And it's like the kids start to find out that everywhere they're at, the clown is. And in the remake, when they start seeing the slides of the clown, and they start seeing him and he comes out of the projector, really effective. That's good.
Well, in the original, with you mentioned it, you have a great point. You mentioned that scene where he comes out of something, like they have the book in that old kind of West town, and they reading the book, and he actually like comes up to the right up to like the picture in the book or the camera lens, and reaches his hand through the book. What a great effect!
Great
absolutely.
Effect. And simple too. Like a lot of the effects in the original were very simple, but super effective because, you know, it's not supposed to happen like that. And they really had to amp it up for the remake. This came out on like a double VHS. I remember when you got this from Blockbuster, you had to really commit to some time with it. The first miniseries is pretty long.
So yeah, I actually have the DVD of it here.
Let's see the stack.
I just have two movies today, but the original DVD, actually you have to watch it on two sides. So like side A is the first half where that tells the story of the children. Side B is the later half, which I know you've both read the book. So I have a question for both of you. Is it true, just like the miniseries, just like the 2017, 2019 films, is the book, the first half, from what I've heard, is outstanding, then it just kind of loses it during the later half? Do y'all feel that way as well?
It's hard to say because it does jump around. Like the big part of it is, you know, you start with the children. It starts with the adults, goes back in time to the children, comes back to the adults, goes back in time to the children, and then ends with the adults. So there's kind of like 4 chapters of this in the book. And when they start getting into cosmic turtles and like space deities and orgies, like that's when the book kind of loses me. And it's not because it's bad, it's just because it's kind of ethereal. And Stephen King is notorious for not being able to finish a book in a way that makes sense or that is satisfying. And yeah, they kind of just kind of defeat the clown. There is a big final showdown, but it just doesn't go the way you think it would. And they just kind of defeat it out of cosmic justice and love. And you're just kind of like, huh, you don't want to throw a rock at it or do something exciting? And they're like, that just
poke it with a stick.
It's basically like the end of like a Planeteer, Captain Planet episode where they're like, the power of heart, power of fire, and they just kind of like all do their Care Bear stare at him, and he goes away, and you're kind of like, huh, oh, okay, yeah, I guess it's more of a Care Bear thing. Yeah, it really is just kind of shooting it out of their tummies. It's super bizarre. Like it really is hard to describe, and when like people read it, it's even weirder than I can describe on a YouTube stream, because there's some sex going on, and those kids aren't of age, so it's super weird.
Really strange.
Really fun. Yeah, you're like, Steven, what are you doing? And he's like, I don't know, man. I'm on a lot of coke. I'm rich as shit right now.
Pretty much.
You know who directed this though, right?
Tommy Lee Wallace.
Tommy Lee Wallace, who did one of my favorite films, our favorite films, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. So he directed Fright Night Part 2, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. He did a lot of stuff. I mean, he was very tight with John Carpenter working on Assault on Precinct 13, The Fog. Dude's done a lot of really, really cool stuff. He's also directed the TV series of Flipper. He did a lot of stuff with dolphins, which is kind of funny.
And I think he's even the architect of the famous, I might be wrong here, but of the famous Michael Myers mask. I think he's the one that came up with taking a William Shatner mask and
around. Well, because he was in the art department for a lot of stuff. He was the art director of Assault on Precinct 13. Yeah, he really has done quite a bit. That'd be amazing.
On that note, there's a absolutely fantastic, if you want to see some amazing behind the scenes and see him in action and the rest of the team get together, a fantastic documentary called Pennywise, the story of it. And it's fantastic. I mean, really good.
That's full of Bart Mixon interviews. Like, yeah, he donated a lot of pictures for that documentary, and it's pretty fantastic.
I think that's on Screambox. I think it's a Screambox exclusive, if I'm not mistaken.
That's what it's looking like right here.
Okay.
And you are correct. Production designer Tommy Wallace was on the original 1978 Halloween. He was the one who he went and bought a bunch of Halloween masks and was like, "Which one of these do you want?" John Carpenter was like, "Flip that one inside out." Done. That's amazing. That's amazing because it's just one of those like accidents where they're like, I don't know. And I've done this gag in the past where if you look up the other masks that were coming out of the Ben Cooper, the mask magazines at the time, like what it could have been. And it's like a werewolf, a demon, a devil, and none of them are like, they're all like trying to be scary, and it's just like the William Shatner mask. He could have grabbed a Spock mask too, or a Yoda mask. Like, what if he grabbed a different Star Trek character?
Oh my God! Imagine that. That would have been great. Someone should do like some sort of an AI recreation of like if he pulled another mask off the thing, what would it have looked like? And Yoda would have been hilarious.
Inside out Yoda, yeah.
Yoda crossover AI.
But like, yeah, if he had been Leonard Nimoy, it wouldn't have been the same. You know, he'd have little elf ears. People would be like, "Why are his ears pointy? Is he an elf?"
This is funny.
He's a magical woodland creature. But we're not talking about Michael Myers. We're talking about Pennywise the Clown. The makeup in Pennywise the Clown. In the original, Tim Curry's amazing look. It's awesome because it is clown makeup. You know, they went through a lot of different variations. But what's interesting is it starts as it's painted on his face. And as the movie goes on, it becomes integrated into his skin, like his bruising, his lips, his teeth. As he becomes more monstrous, the makeup becomes more like bruising as opposed to like painted on. And I thought that was a really neat touch.
Very neat touch. I love like the way, just the comparison of the makeup in the miniseries versus the new It films and the new Pennywise, and it's actually just on that note too. It is really crazy if you've ever seen a picture of Tim Curry and blanking on his name. Give me the name. Bill Skarsgård together as just at the same age that Tim Curry was and Bill Skarsgård. They look so similar. I mean, if you found those two photos, someone did a matchup, it's like night and day, crazy similar.
Yeah,
the two of them.
I mean, look at that, just classic,
unbelievable. I mean, it's just great, and it's so crazy how it's so different. Like this is more like, you know, Kringle's the clown in the old commercials. You know, that's a great picture of Tim Curry under makeup for.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit, they do kind of look alike.
Isn't that nuts? Yeah, there's a comparison. Unbelievable, right?
Wow.
I brought you guys, by the way, a treat today to present on the show whenever you want to bring it. I can present it and bring it up. But I used to own the bust of Bill Skarsgård's makeup appliances for It. And I have three great photos of this evolution of like the when I had it in my place and what it looked like on the bust, and then the progression to when it was restored and hair was put on it and like a collar. So I'll present those for you guys. They're so cool.
Oh, hell yeah.
I think I can't wait to see that, man.
When we get to stuff.
The original Georgie scene, I think it's one of the most iconic scenes in the book, in the franchise, in both films. The clown in the sewer, you'll float to, hey, I'm not supposed to talk to strangers. Well, I'm Pennywise the dancing clown. Now we're not strangers, see?
Right.
They're so similar in both how they were approached in the original and the new one, but there's something about the original that has this horrid innocence. Because he's just a clown. As you're looking here, like, it's not a scary clown. He's in the sewer, which makes him scary. His makeup's not scary. He acts just like a regular, hey, I'm a clown stuck in the sewer. Clowns in the wrong place are always really scary. And I remember one of the first times that I was like, clowns are freaky, man. Me and my buddy were driving. I was like 16, just got my license, and we're driving along. And we look over, and there's a clown standing with a balloon. Not on the street, not on the sidewalk, in the bushes. He's just waving at us. And he's like, you saw that clown too, right? And I was like, yeah, man. And I was like, why was he in the bushes?
That's messed up.
Clown in the sewer. Not okay. Why is he there?
That's so creepy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Have you guys ever encountered a clown in the wrong place scenario?
Thankfully, no.
The clown in the wrong place scenario. I not clown in the wrong place scenario, but I was at a circus once, and this is the biggest childhood terror, like from when I was like 8 years old or younger, probably. I was at a circus in the front row, and a clown grabbed me from my seat and lifted me up and grabbed me and put me on stage, like, and just started like honking his horn at me and dancing around me. And that was when my fear of clowns began, because it was just terrifying. I mean, terrifying. Being in front of the public, but also like brought up by a clown and just like terrorized by him.
Yeah, against your will. You were
completely against my will. I mean, they can't do that stuff anymore. They can't like just, lift someone from their chair and bring them on stage.
That's a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Circus ring too. It was really creepy. I just, I should find out who it was and just like sue or something. This could
I'm terrified for her now. Yeah, okay. We got somebody. Yeah, El Inca actually did the clown. Maybe it was you. Maybe you were the reason.
Yeah, you found your clown, Aaron.
Pat, you remember freshman year of college how I was like really sick and in and out of the hospital a lot with appendicitis?
It was bad, yeah.
Yeah, I was in the hospital for like a month, and because I had really bad appendicitis, they had to take it out and remove my appendix. But I remember being like whacked out of morphine. I'm like asleep, and I look up, and my mom's going to something, off my vision, and I was like, "What is she freaking out about?" And I'm slowly turning. She's like, "No, don't look." And you're not making it any better. And I turn, and there's a clown in the window of the door going like,
oh my God. Did someone send you like a clownogram, like a feel better clownogram or something?
Because I was like freshly 18 as a freshman, I was on the children's ward of the hospital.
Oh God, that's even
so like I'm this like I'm an 18-year-old man at this point, young man, and like everybody else around me is like a little kid. So like they send clowns around to make kids feel better, and this clown's just like in the window. You're like,
wow,
wants to feel better, and I'm just like, I just want to go to bed. I'm tripping on morphine because I'm in so much pain. Yeah, they were hooking it up hardcore.
That's like the worst time to encounter a clown is when you're just on a bunch of meds.
Just high as shit. Freaking the fuck out. Yeah, the clown. Yeah. Wow. Oh yeah, just the fact that my mom was like, no. Ah.
Like, so bad.
She was overreacting to
Well, again, I'll be right back.
I'm high as hell, so it seems like she's overreacting to it, and then of course it's like, oh no, we're good.
That's terrible.
I don't need it.
Terrifying.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't know. Chat. I got some of you guys saying you dressed up as clowns for haunted houses. What was our feeling of clowns, chat? Are we feeling clowns are fun, clowns are cool, or clowns are creepy? I don't blame the profession. I just think it's how you act. It's not necessarily like making people happy and being a jokester is super fine and fun. But it's like if you're a clown, it's like I'm not a talking clown, and you're like that's creepy. I'm a clown that gets in your personal space. That's really creepy. My makeup is creepy. That's creepy.
I think Gacy started it all. I mean, he said on this clowns. There could be something sinister beneath the makeup, and I just think he didn't do anyone any favors.
100%. Yeah,
he kind of ruined it for the clowns in the future.
Yeah, clown college enrollment got way down. Yeah, it's like, and I think it's also like when you cover your face in makeup, you're presenting as a character, and if that character feels disingenuous, there's something creepy about it. And I've met plenty of clowns who are having a great time at a party and they're doing their thing, and you're like, that's cool. You did a bunch of great balloons. That's fun. But I think it's like the over the top makeup in a way that, like, if you're in a private space and you're like, I put a red dot on my nose, but I'm still me. That's great. If you're at a big circus and you have a lot of makeup on, it's not as, it's like you're presenting to a big crowd. I feel like the number of people in the room determines how much makeup you should be putting on for your shtick. I don't know why that's a metric that came up, but
My God.
So yeah, the miniseries scared us all to death. Like it really did. It is legendary. I think a lot of our generation saw it way too young, scared the shit out of us. Introduced everybody to Pennywise the Clown, did a great job, and then years later they're like, we're going to reboot it. And immediately I was like, that's a bad idea. The original's so good. But the more I thought about it, it's like you could streamline it. The miniseries is clunky in the way it's paced. It ends weird. There's a lot of stuff that could be done better. And then they're like, it's going to be a rated R miniseries, 2-part movie. And I was like, holy shit. And we're going to cast Bill Skarsgård. And I go, who the fuck is that?
See, it's a guy who looks like Tim Curry.
See, the thing was, like, when they announced Bill Skarsgård, he was like still in like his early to mid 20s, where Tim Curry, I believe, was probably in his 40s by that point. The It miniseries came out, and I remember just seeing a picture. I was like, he's too pretty to be creepy. Like,
yeah, who is this guy? Yeah.
He's like Tim Curry, like, yeah, he's a handsome man, but he's got a creepy factor to him because again, he's starred in so many horror films. Where Bill Skarsgård, he's like, this guy looks like he could be on the billboard of a Versace ad. Like,
yeah,
he's look at Tim Curry, like when he was Bill Skarsgård's age. That's the photo I saw where they compared them. Same bone structure in the face, like same look. Both of them could be brothers easily. Insane.
Well, I don't know. Stellan Skarsgård has so many children; they could be brothers.
Are all the Skarsgårds like a clan, like one of those actor families? Is that
tons of them? Yeah, because there's Stellan Skarsgård, Bill Skarsgård,
the guy Scott. Which one is the one in Skeleton Key? No, that's another Skarsgård.
That's another one. There's one in Andor.
Oh, Peter Sarsgaard, I think his name. He's not related to them, but
it sounds the same as the same family. It's okay.
It's just minus the K.
SARS, scars, whatever.
And when they released, like when we were so it was like, who is this guy? I didn't know anything that he was in. I didn't know anything that Bill Skarsgård was in.
I had seen him in that short-lived Netflix werewolf series, Hemlock's Grove. Well,
is that what he was in?
He was in that.
Oh.
So I had seen him in that, and I think he's done like a couple smaller roles, but this is kind of because me and him are about the same age. Like, this is kind of what put him on the map, as opposed to like making him kind of a household name. because you got to think at that time his dad was Stellan was a well-regarded actor. His older brother Alexander had done True Blood. They were kind of billing him as kind of the next leading man at that point. So Bill was kind of like the little brother that was just kind of getting a start.
And they threw a huge role at him. And as KG brought up, he's been doing that weird face thing since he was a kid. And go check out El Inca's clown in the Discord. You guys are following along there. See his clown costume. Immediately off the bat, when they revealed the makeup,
very nice.
I was kind of like, he's scary, and he looks like a scary clown. And this is probably my biggest gripe with the whole thing. It's effective. It is scary. But something that I really liked about the original makeup is he's just a clown who then does scary things because he's in the wrong place or his teeth get creepy. But like from the get-go, when I look at this clown in the sewer, I'm like, you're an evil clown in the sewer, guy. I'm not coming anywhere near you. Like, There's no world where you're like lured in by this clown. You are immediately terrified and repulsed. And it's effective. It's scary as shit. Like it's a good design. I just don't know if it's not how I would design it. That's fine. Because it does work. The movie that they made is terrifying and relentlessly terrifying. And the fact that his eyes just kind of like slowly float away, that's just so creepy.
I did see a funny meme that said it was right after this came out. It says when Pennywise is trying to lure you into the sewer, but then you realize it's Bill Skarsgård underneath all that makeup, and it shows someone diving into the sewer.
I love the dive into the sewer meme. Yeah, that's like in the middle of the summer, he's like, it's 10 degrees cooler down here. I got popsicles. Yeah, I'm ready to rock. So I think they crushed at least the first half. It's a 2-part movie. The first movie, they crushed it. I thought it was scary as hell. Like, I really did think they did a good job. I thought the child actors were great. I thought the effects of what they were doing with Pennywise was really freaky. Just very effective. But you have a whole second part you got to like get through. And, I agree that I think it kind of started to slip in the second part. But the first part, let's talk about that. When you guys, I saw it in theaters opening night. How did you guys feel about it, part 1?
I saw it in theaters opening weekend too, and me and my partner were just blown away because again, it's scary. You have a outstanding cast, not just Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise, but the preteen cast were all absolutely incredible. And I think that's a big part of its charm were the young cast. It made a fuck ton of money. I think even still to this day, the highest grossing horror film of all time. I do have a question for both of you because for those who are just tuning in, just finding our show, I'm a horror fan, but I'm not in the entertainment industry, the film and television industry, where Aaron and Patrick, you both are. You're horror fans who are also in the film and television industry. When this came out, this was like the biggest opening weekend for like an R-rated film, a horror film. Was this something that caught everyone in the industry by surprise, or was this kind of expected?
The pre-sales were huge for this. I think they knew it was going to have a huge weekend because once they started pre-selling tickets, I think they knew it was going to be big. Like, we bought our tickets way in advance. Andy Muschietti, how do I pronounce this guy's name? Muschietti had done a press tour. Like, it was going to be big, and they knew it was going to be big. And it is. I don't think it caught them off guard, but I think they were very happy that it did so well because this would have been a huge tank. You also had some pretty big stars in it. You have a Skarsgård, but there's
Finn Wolfhard, who was in Stranger Things.
Finn Wolfhard, who was a big part of it. On the older side, I'm thinking who was the older Bill. He was in Saturday Night Live.
Bill Hader, yeah, he was in part 2.
Part 2. There was a lot of some good stars in part 2. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, really good stars. But yeah, it crushed at the box office, and I'm glad because yeah, that would have been really bad if they were like, never mind, canceled. They do that all the time, and I feel like that's like such a bummer.
Yeah, dude, I
Actually,
really knew it was going to be big. I mean, like, I think, before they even put it on screen, they did probably, ions of research into the built-in fan base. Like, is there brand recognition? How big a King book is this? All of that stuff. I'm sure their research departments were off the wall. And then you've got, again, like you mentioned, Stranger Things. You've got that kid buddy angle of the whole thing. I'm just looking at this like a producer and just trying to dissect the little things that are appealing about the film. But you add it all up and you put it all together, and you can hope and pray it just has a monster weekend. But I think they at least knew that it was going to recoup the investment, do well, be a good opening weekend. They knew what weekend it was going to be released on. Did they think the expectations would be that it's going to be like it was a cult phenomenon and spawn a miniseries? Probably not. Nobody knows anything. I mean, if you read the William Goldman book, he has a book and he's like, no one knows in the industry knows anything about the success or what's going to happen or whatnot. But they at least knew, I think, that it was going to do well and it was going to be solid, because they knew there was a part 2 too. So you better be feeling positive that this thing is going to do at least make some money if you're going to put out a 2-part film, a la Lord of the Rings, or anything that you predetermine is going to be a 2-parter. Wicked is an example, right? So again, that research was done, and exhaustive.
I think you cannot deny the popularity of Stranger Things playing into the fact that this.
Oh yeah, no way. Yeah.
One thing catch you off guard? Because again, even though I'm not in the industry, one thing I know is that this was released September 8th, 2017. September has a reputation, along with January for the most part, of being what they call a dump month, where studios kind of dump films they have kind of little faith in those 2 months, just because September is not a busy month for theaters because most kids are going back to school and getting settled in. January, because most people are outspent because of the Christmas holiday. So did that kind of like have any doubt in either one of your minds where like, man, they're releasing this September? Like,
if this wasn't a horror film and Halloween now didn't start halfway through September, I would say probably I would say, this could be dodgy. But it's a horror film with brand recognition, evil killer clown, almost right square. Let's say it is Halloween season at that point, September 18th. Yeah, so like we're in Halloween mode. There was no doubt in my mind that they're playing on the horror movie audience and the Halloween lovers and that time of year.
Is this a Universal or was it Warner Brothers?
Warner Brothers, which that's kind of become a thing now, because ever since I noticed with the success of the first It, the weekend after Labor Day has kind of become their weekend where they drop the big horror properties, because I think it's the next year after they dropped the first Nun movie. The year after that, of course, It Chapter 2. Then they did like Beetlejuice. This year was The Conjuring Last Rites. And they've all been widely successful with huge opening weekends, especially for September, which was traditionally known originally as a dump month, a slow month for theaters.
Think about this as well. Streaming wasn't what it was at that time.
Yeah.
But you need to get the movie out of theaters so that come October, it's dropping on the streamer, so that, spooky time, they want it on the streamer for October. So I think September, because of streaming, they're shifting the release dates around so that it's like what used to be a dump month because of slow time going into where they would release a horror movie in October and then release a Christmas movie in December. Now it's like they're going to release a Christmas movie in October, so by December it's ready to go to streamers and back on DVD. Yeah, that's what I think they're trying to aim for.
And also before this time, because they Warner Brothers dropped HBO Max, I think sometime in 2020. I think it was summer 2020. So this was really around the time 2017, where really the only 2 streaming services you had were Hulu and Netflix for this kind of thing.
Yeah. It was great. I think they really did something really important with this one too. Is they made the children's relationships real. The Losers Club was felt real in this one, and in the earlier version, it's like, yeah, the kid actors did okay, but they weren't nearly as good. The kids here were really great actors and pretty, you cared about them, and it really is. I think I don't think they split this up well. I think if you had bounced back and forth between the adults and the children a little bit more to ingratiate yourself to both versions of this character, it would have been better. Because by the time we get to It Chapter 2, and it's like, here's new characters, here's the adults, and you're kind of like, cool, but I like the kids better. But they're asking, they're like, it's the same character though, and you're like, is it though? Because they're different, and the second half really has to adapt, whereas the first half is pretty true to the book in various ways. But in the second chapter, they're having to really pick and choose what they're putting in the movie and what they need to leave out, and that's hard. It feels adapted. It felt like Blu-ray extras from the first movie. That I think you could have just melded it all together and made one big long movie.
But it took they also took a play from the playbook of the miniseries directly. I mean, it was very reminiscent of the miniseries in the narrative structure of everything, how it unfolded, the two-part. This part's about the kids, this part's about the adults. So it's the same amount of jarring in the miniseries as it is in the film. Just because it's pretty much the same structurally, but the kids, I agree with you. Like, the kids had such great rapport. It was great. I mean, it was a really good chemistry between everybody. I'm sure and I know we're gonna get to the series, the television series, Welcome to Derry, but that is not, the kids in that do not have good rapport. So we can be thankful that we have the It Part 1 film and the miniseries with the kids.
Yeah. And then, I think with It Chapter 2, where it suffers was the fact that you had the strong bond between these preteens. And also, I would go as far as say the success of Stranger Things, because when the first It movie, It Chapter 1, came out, a year before, Stranger Things had just debuted. And then, like 1 month after It Chapter 1's opening weekend, Stranger Things season 2 was getting ready to come out. And then by the time It Chapter 2 came out in September of 2019, a couple months prior, you had season 3 of Stranger Things. So you still had like Finn Wolfhard, who at that point was on top of the world. You had a great group of cast. I think Jack Dylan Grazer had just done Shazam, which was a big hit earlier that year. Where this one, I think with this one, they tried to stack the cast with recognizable loved names like James McAvoy, Jessica Chastain, Bill Hader, James Ransone, which all very talented actors, but it's just, I think what made that bond, what made It Chapter 1 so strong was the bond between the child actors. So they all felt like friends. They all felt like, oh, you could see them hanging out outside a set. Where this one, it just felt like a bunch of big name actors just kind of thrown together, which they have great chemistry and the acting's very strong in It Chapter 2, but it just doesn't, I don't know, that bond between them just doesn't feel as authentic as it did with It Chapter 1.
And it doesn't feel authentic as the miniseries Part 2 either.
Yeah.
I think the chemistry between John Ritter and the rest of the cast in that, which was great. The guy from Night Court was in it. I forget his name, but played Richie, I think, as an adult. But it's just, they had really good chemistry, and I didn't quite feel it with Jessica Chastain, Bill Hader, and then there was the guy from what was the Split movies? What's his name?
James McAvoy.
Yeah, McAvoy. I didn't feel. I don't know. I didn't. It existed and it was fine and it was entertaining. I just didn't feel the chemistry. To your point.
Which I did see a meme around the time this came out. They said, this was kind of for James McAvoy, who is a big name, who is a beloved actor. They said this was kind of the year 2019 of disappointing follow-ups to big films that he had done, because earlier that year he did the sequel to Glass, or did the sequel to Split, which was Glass, which most people did not like and found very disappointing compared to Split. Then he did X-Men Dark Phoenix later, had dropped later in the summer, and to me that's one of the worst films I've ever seen. And, and then a lot of people were kind of let down with It Chapter 2. So people were like, this is kind of the year of disappointing follow-ups for James McAvoy.
It's tough though, because it is stacked against them, because the book doesn't know where to go. You can't do the ending of the book. You just can't. It's impossible.
The ending of the book is terrible. I mean, it's just like a lot of Stephen King's endings are just not.
Yeah, space turtles and, like I said, weird stuff. So where the movie, they could have fixed it, and they started to, where they're like, we're going to do this ritual, and then they're like, oh no, the ritual doesn't work, so we're just going to neg the guy to death with insults. Like, what?
Right. Comedy Central roast him to death.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we're just going to fire roast him till he dies. It'd just be hilarious. You cut over and it's like Nikki Glaser and Jeff Ross are like, oh.
Yeah, they tried to play. They tried to play that angle of I'm not scared of you anymore, and if I exude my non-fear of you and you don't scare me anymore, and I outwardly say that and neg you, then you're going to die and go away. The producers, the writers, everyone got together and felt a team, a group of people, a room of people thought that was enough. I think that's bizarre. I agree with you, Aaron. Bizarre, weird.
And I think there's a way to do it, but I understand that's how that works. It worked, but it worked better in a Freddy Krueger movie than it did in this.
It's been done also. It's not it's not even a fresh concept of oh, you're coming at me because I fear you, and the recipe to beat you is to show my lack of fear. I don't know. I get it, but I think it was so on the nose with it that I think that's where you're.
Yeah. That's what it is. It was super on the nose, and it was every insult withered him more. And it's I think you could have done it, because this was a part that really worked well in the miniseries when he holds up his inhaler, and it's in the book too.
I love
and
that.
He says, "This is battery acid," and there's this long beat, and then he presses it, and it burns him. And there wasn't any of that in the ending of this. So it's
so good.
Is it going to work? Is it going to hurt him? And it turned the words into bullets. And at the end of the day, I think we all know, if you start harassing somebody, that's not a win. So it's and I think it was just the execution of it just felt, I don't know, hey, we got to wrap up. Start dissing this clown and we'll be out of here.
I think that's so smart, that scene, that you just mentioned about the inhaler. It's weaponizing an imaginary, he's taking something and he's creating an imaginary weapon, and because he knows that that's what it is, and he believes it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It manifests itself in as an actual weapon. That's super clever. That's taking it the next level. That's digging one step deeper than just the surface, and that's not on the nose, and it's really imaginative, and it's really smart. And I think this film missed that opportunity to do that for sure.
Yeah. I mean, and it was going pretty well. Up until that point, I think it was kind of disjointed because it separated all of them, and they each got a vignette of terror, and it was effective. I think those scenes were pretty creepy. The bathroom filling up with blood, and the fun house with the mirrors. It's all effective.
The fun house scene was great.
Yeah, there's some really effective beats here, but they all felt disjointed because they're not together, and they need to defeat the clown together. And then they're like, we're going to do this ritual, but you spend so much time building that up for it not to work. That seems wasted. That seems like wasted time to me.
Yeah. Well, talk about wasted time when we get to the series.
Well, we're here.
Before we get there, I just want to quickly present to you.
Let's see
these images. I'm going to see if I can do. Oh, here we go. Because I put them on my computer. Let me see here.
If you go to presenter invite,
I got it. So this is the bust when it was in my. Let's see if I could send it to. Oh, there we go. That's the bust when it was in my place, and it scared the shit out of everyone and their mother that came in here. It literally just watched everybody sleep because it's in the same room as my bed. So it was terrifying. And that's when I knew that I had to get rid of it because it was just scaring the company. But you could see how hyper realistic this thing was.
Oh
Pretty
yeah.
great.
And let me just see here. So then I can show you this other thing. So this now, what happened was some guy bought it off me. And this company named Hero Hair, which actually does like recreations of things, they took it. So these are the Hero Hair folks. They used to be in New York. I think they moved to Chicago, but that's them with the bust that I had in my possession for like 2 years. It was like open its eye. Yeah. It's so funny you say that because like that's exactly what every single person said when I owned it. Like they just thought the eyes were going to open and he was just going to come. And frankly, waking up in the middle of the night and it just staring at you, it did get me a couple times too. And then they actually ended up, the final image, they ended up taking it, the person who bought it from me, and then once it was with Hero Hair for like a year, ended up getting it totally redone, and it had a whole fresh new look, and this is what it looked like with the end product, and it just really turned out great.
Wow.
And everything. Awesome, right?
That's incredible.
Yeah, I
Wow.
love the collar. That's great.
So cool, right? Yeah, that was his vision. He's like, I'm gonna buy it from you, and then I'm gonna zhuzh it up, put hair on it, the collar, like make a whole display. And I think it really turned out great. He did a great
That's
job.
awesome.
Yeah, so he made it look a lot like the original. But yeah, that's awesome.
Terrifying.
Terrifying.
So yeah, HBO said let's we're not done with the clown. We need more. So they made a miniseries. Now I have not.
God damn you, HBO!
Yeah, I have not seen Welcome to Derry yet. I do not have good enough internet in my hotel to even
It's
be
a
able
blessing.
to.
It's a blessing.
Well,
Oh,
so
no,
Pat,
Craft
you
Witch
seem
loves it.
super.
Your Craft Witch is gonna hate. Craft Witch is gonna hate me after this episode. Hate me.
It's okay. I enjoy it, so at least Craftwitch will
All
at least have someone who enjoys it.
All right.
I got your back,
Chase.
Jenna. Don't worry.
I want to hear the positive first. Chase, what? Tell me a little bit about Welcome to Derry. What is the general plot? Because I haven't seen it. I have no clue what's going on. The only thing I heard is there's a great scene with pickle jars. Weird.
Yes.
Okay.
So it is set in 1962, I believe, and it follows Pennywise's kind of influence on the town of Derry at the time and him targeting a group of young children. And it just kind of shows them trying to figure out what's going on. You have a child who was previously in an institution, who had been sent to an institution, who is trying to tell people this is real, but they don't believe her. They do have themes of racism in there, where a new African-American family new African-American family moves into town, and they are kind of being treated with hostility, even though they're trying to say, listen, this isn't the South. I know y'all live in the South. We treat everyone equal here. There is a bit of racism that is into play there when they're trying to say something.
Mm-hmm.
And it also kind of goes to the Native American. They just did a whole episode, like a last half of the episode was about the Native American tribe. Kind of shows their rituals trying to get Pennywise back long time ago. But yeah, overall, I think it's really good. A lot of children get slaughtered. This children, I'm gonna keep it clean today because my mom just texted me saying she's watching it with my grandmother. Hi, Grandma. Hi, Mom. So basically, this show saying F them kids.
Yeah, F them kids.
Uh-oh, I can't hear anybody.
Uh-oh.
Whoa.
Uh-oh.
Did it give you? It took it away from your earbuds?
Sign language anymore.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that. My AirPods died.
So does it follow any characters from the main story, or is it a whole new group of kids?
Brand new group of kids. Supposedly there's fan theories that there's a couple of the kids in there that are somehow related to kids in the 2017 film, but guess we'll just have to wait to see how that goes.
It just came up. A lot of people say it has like Mike Hanlon as one of the main, one of the he says Halloran, but I think it's Mike
Dick
Hanlon.
Halloran, yeah.
So, Pat, you're crazy. So, like we said, no spoilers, but like, what about it is not working for you? Is there a way to say this spoiler free as possible?
Yes, I will keep this completely spoiler free. So I think one thing I came to a realization of during this is like there are a lot of groups of kids in different things that have been throughout the ages, right? You've got Goonies, where there's a group of kids, and what a great movie! And it kind of started this movement of like, oh, there's a group of kids and they're going on this adventure. And then you have Super 8, which I loved in 2011, which is another group of kids, which was fun. It was another group of kids. And then you had It Chapter 1 back in 17 or whenever that was, another group of kids. And then you had Stranger Things back in the same thing, another group of kids. And I'm like, I'm fucking done. Sorry about the language. I don't know if I can say fuck on this, but like, I'm fucking done with yet another group of kids that I have to like be introduced to in another series. And it's okay, fine. Another group of kids, the whole group of kids thing. I guess it has to be a group of kids because it's It. But like, this group of kids has like zero chemistry whatsoever. I think they're terrible actors. Just in general, their acting is absolutely horrible.
Sorry to interrupt you, Patrick, but real quick, I'm going to jump in. When you talk about the group of kids, we also just recently had 3 seasons of a Chucky series, which followed a group of kids too.
A group of kids, yeah.
Oh yeah, the Chucky series. God. So their chemistry is horrible. The acting is abysmal. I think it comes like a lot of people have compared some episodes, and again, no spoilers. Situationally, some scenes in a lot of episodes in tone are more reminiscent of Goosebumps than they are any sort of horror thing. You know the scene I'm talking about, Chase, in the last episode, not this recent episode of last week, but the one before that.
You talk about the bike scene in the cemetery. Oh God, that was terrible.
The worst scene probably I've ever seen. Why is that there? I think like narratively, it's so disjointed and disconnected to understand what point they're trying to prove. And 4 episodes in, narratively, if I don't quite understand like what you're trying to achieve or why this series even exists in the first place, like I don't get it. I don't understand it. There are military elements there. I don't want to go into too much because I don't want to spoil it, but narratively it's not gelling with me. I think it's like too scattered, and there's no character development whatsoever. There's no narrative development. I think like when you have no character development, it just like you're doomed from the start, because like not only is there no chemistry, but like none of the characters have been developed, nor do we care about any of the characters. And I think it's not scary because it's got tonally, it's again more akin to Goosebumps. And on the top of everything, and I can go on for days and days and days and dig up.
That's rip shit about this.
But I will go to the fact that like, yes, tons of children freaking die. There's so much gore and so much like death and so much just pure grossness, I think, all around, that like it just I lose all respect for it. And I love like a gory thing, and it's fun and it's hard, but like this is just like over the top gore and killing just for the sake of it being there, that it doesn't connect at all for me to the narrative or have a purpose for being there other than to gross out and to just exist independently as like one thing after another thing after another thing. That's just, let's just put this. And Aaron, I'm going to drive it home for you, because this is the moment where I'm just going to come out and say it. The VFX, the SFX, all that shit is terrible. It sucks.
I've been
told balls. It's horrible, Aaron. And when you see it, you're going to be like, what the fuck were they thinking? It is just so bad, man. So bad.
I've heard the fog, the CGI fog is the moment I'm going to get angry about. But
yeah,
dude, I love it when a movie takes the time to kill them kids. So I don't know, man. I need to check it out. Because it's tough when you have kid actors, because when you look at the movies that we've seen talking about the It miniseries, up until this point, the kid actors have always crushed it. Even in the old miniseries, when it's a little bit rougher, you believe it. And I always give kids the benefit of a doubt as actors because it's like, well, they're kids. What can you do? But holy shit, we've now had, as you said, Stranger Things, Chapter 1, so many Chucky, where the kid actors are crushing it. That, like, if the kid actors aren't good in this, there's no excuse at this point.
For my personal opinion, I think the kid acting is fine in it. It's just they don't have the chemistry that the kids in the first Chapter 1 had.
Yeah.
Even the kids in Stranger Things, like the kids in those, what makes those shows so charming is that those kid actors and Stranger Things and at Chapter 1, they all felt like friends. It would be one of those things you could see them hanging out outside of set and it wouldn't be off-putting, where this one, it feels like they don't have that chemistry. They feel like actors acting in a series, pretending to be friends on a set. They don't really have that chemistry. With me, like I said, I think the acting's fine. I'm just enjoying the ride. I think but I think I will agree with Patrick. Some of the visual effects, oh boy, are kind of rough, especially like you said, episode 3, the cemetery scene. Like, me and my partner were watching it when it was airing, and we were just hysterically laughing with how bad it was. And funny thing is, when you mentioned it felt more like Goosebumps, that's exactly what my partner said too. Said this feels more akin to Goosebumps than it does it.
The best part about this series is the intro song by Prudence and whatever.
Is something
Best part of the series. And listen, I'm not saying I'm not going to watch this series to the end, because I just want to see what happens here, how this unfolds. I love the opener, the intro. It's one of the ones that I don't skip the intro because it's so good. The music is fun. It's the
artwork for the intro.
The art's cool, like the way it kind of it foreshadows like good intros, like the entire series kind of in one intro. The song I first heard in a movie called Ghost World, Thora Birch's character plays it on a record. The first time I ever heard that song. And it's fun and it's cute, and actually I have a old record of it too, which from that movie. But it's a fun intro. That's definitely my favorite part of it.
Funny thing is, Patience and Prudence, the musical duo that sang the opening theme for it. They were a duo that sang in the 1950s, sang little cutesy songs. This is the second time they've had a song of theirs used in a horror series that turned it from, cute little song to creepy. Smile on a Ribbon for it Welcome to Derry. And then 15 years ago for American Horror Story Murder House, the Tonight You Belong.
Which was in the movie The Jerk. Steve Martin sings it.
Yeah.
The campfire scene in The Jerk. So it's funny how they use some of their music, but really catchy songs and really cute. They're kids when they recorded it, so.
And now they're creepy songs thanks to American Horror Story and It.
Never mind. If I say it, it'll be a spoiler. But like, this show is about Pennywise, and let's just put it this way: we can't speak about anything Pennywise related yet as far as the series goes. And I know that's kind of a spoiler. It's just like there's nothing to talk about like when it comes to Pennywise in this new series. So we can't go there, unfortunately.
Yeah, they're it's a slow rollout from what I'm hearing. But
what episode are we on? 5 this week? I mean, let's
I will watch it, and we will have to circle back and do a recap when it's all over. Look, I'm still excited. I just want to see if there's any sequences that stand out for their craft of what they're doing, and maybe there's something that can be salvaged. Maybe maybe not. But it is unnecessary. I will say this: the reason they want it is because they want to keep that property looking good, so they can spend more, get more revenue out of that clown.
And there's three. Supposedly, I read an article. There's 3 more planned, and I guess their plan is to go back in time. So now this one's like 50s or something. Then it goes back to the 20s. Then it's going back to the 1800s. That's
They're
their
Yellowstone in that shit. They're gonna
like they're gonna go. Eventually, we're gonna be back at like the prehistoric ages with like Pennywise and the fucking T-Rex and shit. And we're just gonna beat it to death.
We need that Pennywise and Skarsgård money, damn it.
Yeah. All right, KG, we're done spoiling it for you. Very, very impassioned speech pad. I do.
Dude, I never get this like heated about something, but I'm so disappointed. And I watch it every week, and I try like to say, look, this week it's gonna get better, and it always gets worse.
You are amped up as I am about a Prometheus.
I am Prometheus level with this shit. I mean,
That's
it's
funny, man.
The rooftops.
All right.
I will agree with Alinka. The adults in the series are more interesting than, especially the lead woman. She, I think, is like the best character and the best actress in the entire series so far.
Good. Well, here we are, another hour going by, talking about horror and our favorite thing. Thanks for joining us, guys. We always appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on, Patrick.
This is the one I wanted to be on because I felt passionate about that, but I really love the franchise. I do, and anything for you guys.
It is an incredible book. It's an incredible series. It's amazing how after multiple renditions of it, it still is something that has room to be explored because of the lore it creates. I mean, go back and read the book. You will definitely be like, wow. It's lucky that it's so good because it ends so badly that it's like it really front loads how incredible the lore is, how creepy the character is. There's a lot to explore there. So,
which is funny because they mentioned that in the 2019 film, the It Chapter 2. There's several references to. Well, I think there's a scene where James McAvoy goes into a thrift store. Stephen King makes a cameo in as the owner. And Stephen King's reading one of his books. He's like, oh, what'd you think of the book? Good. Book was good. The ending sucked. Like, so it's kind of like they're doing a nod to
that is funny. That is funny.
He knows. Always good to see everybody. Yes. Thanks for tuning in, Pat. Give us some plug some socials. Let us know what you're up to.
Yeah, I mean, New York in June on X, NY in June on what's that thing called? Instagram. You can follow me on either one if you want to. And then I'm going to still plug my podcast because it still has some great archival episodes on there. We've got a lot on there. Probably like over 50 episodes. Screamwriters Podcast at Screamwriters Podcast on X, and then you can go to screamwriterspodcast.com and listen to all the great episodes. We're on every streaming platform, podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that good stuff. I'd love to do another episode or two of that show, kind of bring it back for a little bit. The last one we did was during the strike, and it's a really great episode, even though that strike is over now. But those negotiations are back up again, as Sean Astin said recently. It's a great show if you like to listen, like to know a little bit more about horror screenwriting. Specifically, listen to horror screenwriters talk about their craft. Really fun. So check it out.
Yeah, super good stuff. Chase, let them know what you got.
Yes. Before we start, Patrick, thank you for coming back on today, taking time out of your Saturday. It's always a pleasure having you on. Of course, you can see me here every Saturday with Aaron on Half Hour Horror. All the socials at Oh Hey It's Chase. And again, my mom mentioned that she's watching it with my grandmother right now. Hi, Mom. Hi, Grandma. Hopefully I didn't curse too much for them. They don't like it when I curse. So they don't mind if other people do. They just don't want me to do it.
That's funny. Always a pleasure. We got to give away some blood coin. I think it's pretty easy. Pennywise, there it is. So go to the Discord, open up a ticket, and type in the word Pennywise and get you some. Always fun over at the Discord. Everybody's talking horror movies over there. Anything Block of Horror, of course, on socials in the virtual world. We have some really big stuff coming. The circus is coming to town. Speaking of clowns, we have a circus coming to the virtual world with games and creepy clowns and creepy stuff, which is going to be awesome. And yeah, special thanks to everybody who's been over there. You can follow me. McLean and Abel on Instagram is really the only place I do anything. But I have another show, the Launchpad Podcast. We just because we were talking about Toby Hooper on our last director's spotlight. We did an episode over at the Launchpad Podcast on the Funhouse, and I was kind of passionate like Pat about it. And my buddy Matt loves that movie, so we talked for a full hour and a half about it. That was our latest episode. We're about to do The Mangler. We're going to keep rolling it with the Toby Hooper. This show inspired us to watch more Toby Hooper movies.
You
So
guys
check
been
that
folded
out.
by a laundry machine.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
It's a great show. It's a great show. I'm gonna plug Launchpad Pod. It's such a good show. I actually have listened to more episodes than I want to admit. It's just so good, and I'm a fan of it.
308 now. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm up there. So it's
Yeah,
awesome.
buddy.
You guys got to listen to that.
Appreciate y'all. And of course, here on Saturdays, we're taking next week off for Thanksgiving. I'm traveling home. I haven't seen my family in almost 4 weeks. So I miss them. I'm going to spend some time with them. It's going to be great. But then we will be back with special guests. And we have some really great special guests coming. It's really exciting because we're kind of, we've been really pushing hard for the Silent Night, Deadly Night remake. And
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Some more people involved with that movie are going to be joining us, and we're pretty excited. I don't know how we became like the podcast for that, but
we just had Blitz Berlin, or Martin from Blitz Berlin. My dad wants me. Oh my God, my dad's texting me. Follow his band, the Creepy Crawlers, on Facebook. So follow
them out. Yeah, go check out the Creepy Crawlers.
And follow Blitz Berlin. So yeah,
Blitz Berlin, the composer for things like The Void, Psycho Gorman, Frankie Frico, and of course the new Silent Night, Deadly Night. So super excited, guys.
Are Creepy Crawlers like Oingo Boingo? Like, what kind of music do they play, Chase?
Blues rock and
wow, love that.
Sick. All right, everybody, have a good one. See you next week, or see you in 2 weeks. Enjoy. Eat some turkey.